Today, we're going to be looking at the next-gen stats to look at the buy, sell, holds, and trades from Week 14 fantasy football to project out going forward to this year, maybe next year, year after, dynasty, whatever we're going to think of when we look at these stats and these charts. But before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going deeper than anybody else when it comes to covering the waiver wire. We're covering people covering the waiver wire. We're helping you set lineups. And then we're deep diving all the trending prospects when they get that starting job, when they start to get more opportunities, so you know more about that player and that player's background. Click that button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. You don't want to disappoint Ric Flair. But we had a big-time producer come back, a big rookie. That's Omarion Hampton, and everything's looking solid. 13 carries, 56 yards. We got the touchdown. I told some people to start him, and mainly not because I thought he was a guaranteed, play, but more so, once you get so far down the rankings, you might as well just shoot your shot type of deal. Once you get so far, you might as well just shoot for the upside and hope you hit it. And we got some of that. Got 14-point-some PPR fantasy points. We're back on the field. Things should ramp up from here. It's good to see Omarion Hampton out there. They're trying to get him on the outside. They're trying to use that size-adjusted athleticism. It should ramp up. Kamani Vital should still be in play, but obviously it's going to be a massive step back compared to when he was the guy, and it could be them feasting off each other and then playing off each other, sharing the workload, but they use their running backs. They're in a position where they're going to be in the red zone a lot. They're in a lot of good game scripts, a lot of positive game scripts. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for Hampton. Jack Bech is a guy to look at off the waiver wire. If you really want to gamble, it's really hard to look at the Raiders for redraft. Dynasty, you may want to think about this. We're starting to get some work. We're starting to pop off here and there in terms of routes ran, targets, and getting snaps. Now we got to fire somewhere down the line. 6 balls caught, 50 yards on 6 targets here. We got to see what they're doing at quarterback for the long term. But we're getting some opportunity. We're getting some work. I don't think he's ever going to turn into a top-flight wide receiver. But at Moneyball status here, this is a young guy to pay attention to going forward. Luther Burden, 4 balls caught, 67 yards. He's got 11 PPR fantasy points and hit my projection, 10 to 12 range. That's where he hit at. He did have some upside just due to the nature of him being a stud wide receiver, former 5-star wide receiver who was projected to go in the first round, somehow fell to the second, who's been making plays off and on, especially during training camp when he was out all of May, good bit of the start of training camp, then comes back from the injury and starts cashing in, and he's just ramping up from the time missed, honestly. Rome Odunze out, but it's not a great matchup. That Packers game could have hung a big L with him. That was a dangerous matchup. You got another one coming up with the Browns, and then you got the Packers again. Like I said, there's a chance he could be a trap, but the talent's there, and he's more of a gamble guy in the flex right now. Blake Corum is baby Kyron. You're seeing that here with the touches. A lot up the gut, a lot to the outside. He's explosive. He can pop off some runs. He'll work in the red zone. There's a lot of opportunity in this offense. Kyron's dealing with the ankle. That could heal up. That could get worse. Football's going to football. Ankles are going to ankle. I'm not predicting anything, but we're also seeing him at least, at minimum, be a top-flight handcuff running back, and he better get decent draft capital next year in redraft leagues. If not, you keep pounding that button. If he's going deep into double-digit rounds, you pound that button because he's going to split that workload, and if something happens to Kyron, you know you got baby Kyron Williams right there. Woody Marks is good at getting workload. This offensive line's rough. This was a rough matchup, but he's good at getting workload. That is half the battle at running back. And some of the running backs that blow up don't get this much work. So over time, you run this on X amount of games, he's going to start firing away. He has fired away a few times this season, has some okay matchups, but the thing is, he's good at getting workload. He's good at getting workload. That's something you can throw in the flex, even in a bad matchup, or even if you don't trust what's going on with the Texans due to the offensive line play and everything else. You can definitely look at that and say, hey, at least I know he's going to touch the football today. at least I know that's going to give me the opportunities to get me something, because sometimes that wide receiver who's an upside play may only get 1 or 2 targets and they're overshot. But Christian Watson has been hot. We told you to pick him up before he came off IR. Like, this is a big-time deep threat dandy. He's kind of got that Jameson Williams effect, the Will Fuller effect, where you bring in 1 or 2 deep balls and you're going to splash. And he's been hot right now. I can definitely see him cool off considering how he plays the game. Those deep balls are hard to bring in. You can get overshot, pass interference. You only get so many a game. But Christian Watson's hot right now. He is hot. He should have been held in a higher status. He should have been a best ball dandy. Like, I get the injury and everything else, but how he plays the game, how he can go nuclear on any given Sunday, he heats up right around Thanksgiving time. You got 4 balls caught, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. I expect him to have a couple more big performances. He's hot right now, but again, deep ball dandy, Ryan Flournoy. You're watching CeeDee Lamb. Again, he got the concussion on Thursday, couple extra days to recover, but Flournoy is liked by this coaching staff. He's got good size, adjusted athleticism. Look at where he's running all those routes. He's run routes all over the field, which is a good sign for a young wide receiver here. A very good sign. There's upside here. Of course, if Lamb's back, Lamb and Pickens just nukes him. But if I'm in a deeper league, or if I'm playing Dynasty where I got a money ball the back end, this is something you may want to think about. Both these wide receivers are very aggressive players, and things can happen. And things tend to happen with the Dallas Cowboys. From Dak getting banged up to Lamb getting banged up, there's something happening every year. You may want to think about Flournoy. I can't say he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver because he won't be, but I can definitely say, like, he's a guy the money ball off and on probably throughout his career. Shedeur Sanders. Like, it's not just him, but now he's in consideration for fantasy production. We got some interesting matchups coming up. We got the Bills. We got the Bears this week. We got the Bengals. We got the Steelers. A lot of these matchups, we can throw the ball on. Game script's going to get pushed. He's going to have to sling the rock. I look for him to let it loose. They're going to let it rip. They better let it rip. They better let it rip unless it's down around the red zone, they go Wildcat. But also compared to Gabriel, everything to the left, everything like 10 yards or less. You're looking here, you got deep shots. He's got more deep shots in this game than Dillon Gabriel had in 6 starts. More deep shots in this game than what Dillon Gabriel had that whole time. But this is going to influence everybody else. You're looking at Quinshon Judkins, get that workload. Jerry Jeudy splashed. Those deep balls are going to be randomly downfield, and you're going to see some of these wide receivers cash out, and they got some promising matchups coming up. You're looking at Courtland Sutton here, and this is a wide receiver you may want to see if you can get rid of in Dynasty if you're not needing him for the playoffs. Like, if you're going to be outside the playoffs, or if you're good to go and you can't start him much, you may want to see if you can cash in off of this game, see what you can get draft pick-wise, because we are an older wide receiver. We've been very volatile this year. We have not been hitting to the upside compared to previous seasons. That tends to be the writing on the wall for an older player, and it's better to get out early than a year too late. That's the thing about Dynasty. Again, if he hits next year, it's fine because you'd rather get out a year early than a year too late, because once the draft capital trade value is gone, you ain't going to get it back. He ain't going to command much due to the age, but we're in a position, if your trades are open, that you may want to explore this, considering you don't need him, you're not in the playoffs, and you're not even using him. J.J. McCarthy. The sad thing about this is we did not get a good game script due to injuries here with the Commanders. He was on point, had a good QB rating and everything else. I want to see him fuel Justin Jefferson. Like, I can't consider you serious until we see you throw 250 consistently, 220, 250 consistently at least, and start fueling Justin Jefferson. You got too many weapons on this team to be leaving 163 out there, even with 23 passing attempts. You got too many weapons on this team. Like, I don't know if Dillon Gabriel can be much worse than this. With Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson, with all these weapons. This is it. It's not me making fun of him, but I really need these game scripts to start to get pushed. I really want to see Justin Jefferson come back. And Justin Jefferson's too good and has done so well with so many other quarterbacks that weren't so good or were backups, journeymen, Dobbs, and everybody else, that J.J. McCarthy, I expect more out of him for a first-round quarterback that everybody's excited about. Coming back, though, numbers are looking good. Might be able to push it. That's one thing to say. But we're very concerned about Justin Jefferson here, these top-flight pass catchers here. There's a lot of talent, a lot of meat left on the bone. Tim Patrick, if you got a Moneyball lineup and Washington's out, you may want to think about it. Like, Tim Patrick's a good NFL wide receiver, not so great for consistent production for fantasy. This is also letting you know that Trevor Lawrence is spreading it around a little bit. Brian Thomas Jr. had some splashes. You're looking at Jacoby Myers. Like, they're spreading it around a little bit. Strange is getting some work here and there throughout these weeks. Tim Patrick, 6 targets, 5 for 78, and 1 touchdown. Trevor Lawrence is more than anointment here. But if you're that bad off, you're looking for a wide receiver, 14-team-plus leagues, deeper lineup requirements, Tim Patrick could be a Moneyball play. Jacoby Brissett. So a lot of people had questions on whether or not to start him. Now, we got to go matchup here. But this is a quarterback that does not have a running back to lean on, and they're throwing it a ton. He does not care. He'll keep targeting Wilson. He'll push it downfield. He's aggressive with it. He's a veteran, and you're seeing him just sling the rock. He's going to sling it. I believe he's going to be a safe play every single week. May not be the best play depending on what you got, but most weeks, most matchups, with this volume, I mean, he's getting 40 to 50 pass attempts a game. On the low end, it's like 30 to 35, which is the high end for a lot of these players. That's a lot of volume. That's a lot of volume that could get you there. Don't feel bad about Brissett if you got to start him over a good quarterback. It's just the volume. It's the Moneyball play. Joe Burrow and Josh Allen coming into the live chat, a lot of people were worried about him. I said, guys, statistically, snow, heavy rain, it really depends on a lot of factors. I think one thing this lets you know that if they're good quarterbacks and you get good back and forth, that they'll still make it rain. Another thing that you may want to watch is the over-under, because if it's not sinking throughout the weekend, that means people are putting money on it. It doesn't matter, though, because they sunk the Colts-Jaguars game due to the rain, and they still got good scoring on the over, but really what you're pinpointing is good back and forth here, living up to the potential. These are two very good quarterbacks that push it. If it's supposed to rain, I would really hammer out how much rain you're supposed to get. When's the rain supposed to be there? I would look at the radar. I would look at all that stuff. I would look at the quarterbacks. Are these quarterbacks that suck when there's no rain? Then probably some rain that's going to impact them. If it's guys like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, who got ice water in their veins, they're ready to sling it, probably ain't going to bother them too much. They're probably going to keep slinging it. If it's a matchup that's supposed to have good back and forth, both teams got weapons, they're probably going to sling it back and forth. Deebo Samuel, JD5 went out. I think you're looking at these pass catchers, him and Terry McLaurin, and now you're hella scared going into the playoffs. If you're looking at this for Dynasty, this is probably it for you. This is probably it for you. You ain't got much time. You ain't got much more time. I'll definitely say this in Dynasty for Deebo. Over the years, hard to trade. Hard to trade. Even right now, it's probably going to be damn near impossible. But over the years for me, like I've had him on some teams, and with the Niners, impossible to trade. Even before the injuries started to creep up and people started hating on him. Even before that, like, it's been a good bit before you could trade him for some top flight assets. And even at all, like, he's not liquid. He's not liquid right now. And the thing is, you're watching these quarterbacks. They're very volatile. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm very scared for Deebo Samuel. He got 6 targets, 4 for 27. We might be catching more games like that. The one thing to think about Mariota, that last outing, he was getting the ball out quick. Maybe we revert back to that. But again, you can't trust these Commanders pass catchers. But those are the players we're looking at today on the buy, sell, holds, and trades per the advanced analytics. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.